Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Monday after spring break here. So we're going to just kind of ease back into things today, and we're going to take a trip back to our grammar growth learning check, which we took at the end of the week before break. I think it was on Thursday. And I'm going to have you go back and I'm going to have you self-correct that. And then you're also going to do kind of a self-assessment and reflection that goes with that. So first, an explanation. So here's the key that I have created that I have shared with you, and you're going to have to go through and check yours against the key that I have provided. And so with each of these, I'm just going to give a brief explanation. Number one is a fragment. It is not a complete thought, all right, because it's spring break, it wants to be finished, okay? So I just identified that as a fragment. Number two, the weather will be decent. This is a simple sentence. It has a subject, it has a predicate, it can stand on its own. It's a complete thought, so it's a simple sentence. Number three, the sun is shining now, but it will be raining by this afternoon. This is a compound sentence, and this is how I know. I can cover the glue, the comma, but, all right? And I am left with two independent clauses on both sides. The sun is shining now. It will be raining by this afternoon. Okay. And those are correctly joined by a comma fanboys. So I called that a compound sentence. The birds sang, the bees buzzed. All right. Now, this is a comma splice. All right. It is trying to join two simple sentences incorrectly by just using a comma. And as we learned last week or the week before break, all right, a comma splice does not have the power to join independent clauses or simple sentences to form a compound. So this is a comma splice. Number five, John and Sally flew kites in last week's windstorm. All right. Now, this is just a simple sentence. It's a little longer simple sentence, and it has and in there, but that only shows that we have a compound subject, John and Sally. All right. So hopefully you didn't get fooled there. It has a subject and a predicate. It's a complete thought. It can stand on its own, so therefore it's a simple sentence. Number six, the children were scared, semicolon, therefore they hurried home. All right. This is a compound sentence joined with a semicolon, conjunctive adverb, which is therefore, and a comma. All right. So you should have called that one a compound sentence. When teachers assign work over break, it's not finished. All right. It wants to be finished. All right. So we're going to call that a fragment. Number eight, I went to the store, but I forgot my wallet, so I had to go home. Now, this is a compound sentence. It actually has three independent clauses joined or simple sentences joined. I went to the store, I forgot my wallet, I had to go home. And it is correctly joined with a comma but and a comma so, which are fanboys. All right. Number nine, I ate too much. I got a bellyache. I will eat less next time. Now, just like the one above, there are three simple sentences here, but they are not joined correctly. All right. They are simply joined by commas, and that makes a comma splice, and that is an error. All right. So hopefully you figured that out as a comma splice. And then number 10, leaving the classroom before spring break. Again, a fragment here. It's not finished. It's not a complete thought. All right. So we have to label it a fragment. Okay. So that's it for identification. For construction, these are some possible answers. What you had to do here is you had to write three compound sentences using the three different types of approved glue. Okay. And so the topic had to be spring break. And so I just gave some possible examples here. I had a great spring break, comma, but I am glad to be back. Okay. So the test here is to cover the comma, but and make sure I have two simple sentences. I had a great spring break. I am glad to be back. All right. And so that is a comma fanboys. Okay. That joins those two. Next one had to be a semicolon. I am tired from all the activity over break, semicolon. I need another break. Cover the glue, which is the blue. I am tired from all the activity over break, and I need another break. All right, those are two simple sentences. That's my test for that. All right, and that gives me a compound correctly joined with a semicolon. And then finally, the semicolon conjunctive adverb comma. The weather was nice. So cover the glue. The weather was nice. It could have been nicer. Comma or semicolon, however, comma is the glue that correctly joins those two simple sentences to form a compound sentence. I am more concerned that you have two simple sentences on both sides of the glue than I am about whether or not you correctly identified the subjects and predicates. All right. That's a nice to know, but the need to know is you have to have two simple sentences on either side. All right. So hopefully that one went pretty well. And then finally, here for correction, you had to correct the fragments in the comma splices. Okay. And then you had to highlight in yellow any changes or additions you made. Okay. So for the fragments, if you need help, and what I added, I can help. All right. Worried about the future? I started planning ahead. So I added both of those to finish the fragments to make them complete thoughts. And that's what I added. Um, your answers will vary. What I'm looking for here is that you actually completed it in such a way that it makes sense or can stand alone. Then finally, for the comma splices, these should have been pretty easy peasy fixes. All right. It's just taking the comma and changing it into something that's acceptable to join compounds, to join simple sentences together. The first one, I just simply substituted a semicolon for the comma that was there. Spring break is only a day away, semicolon, the kids and teachers are excited. And then finally, it's a beautiful day for smiles and frowns. And then I just added the but. There was already the comma there, comma, but every day is a beautiful day for smiles and frowns. So here I added a comma fan or a fanboys. Here I added the semicolon to correct the comma splice. Really, what I had to do is I had to get rid of the comma, or I had to add something to the comma to make it acceptable glue. All right. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good sense of how you did. And then once you've done that, folks, I've also added this to your work today, which is the grammar growth self-assessment and reflection. And so I need you to go through all three parts of what you just did. Okay, and you're going to do something for each of those parts. You're going to indicate how you performed, and then you're also going to reflect on what you're learning. And I'm going to talk you through this here a little bit. All right. So go back and look at the identification. And then I need you to highlight the table here, the cell here that best reflects or describes your performance. Okay. If it was a hit, that means you had no misses and no mistakes. If that's so, you're going to highlight the whole, oops, you're going to highlight the whole cell. Oops, why is that not doing that? There we go. The whole cell, and I don't care what color you choose here. Let's choose yellow. All right. And so when I see this, okay, I don't know why I didn't do the whole thing. Doesn't matter. I'm going to see, okay, you hit, you had no misses, you had mistakes. If you had a near miss, which means you had minimal misses, minor mistakes, okay, then you're going to highlight that. If you had a far miss, you had many misses and you had major mistakes, then you would highlight that, okay? This is a bit of a judgment call between these two, all right? And that's why I'm calling them either a near miss or a far miss. You make your best judgment here. However, here means you had no misses and no mistakes to hit the to highlight the hit, okay? So you'll do that for all three parts down here for identification, construction, and correction. Okie dokie. I'm going to undo that. Oops. And then for the reflection, what does your performance reflect about your learning? Use one or more of the provided learning language words to discuss your learning in the cell below. I think it's just easiest if you start off with I am, all right? Um, for example, let's say you had a hit here. I am succeeding with identifying simple compound sentences, fragments, and comma splices, all right? I didn't miss any, and I think I do a pretty good job of being able to identify what those are. Okay. Or maybe you had a near miss. It's like, I am remembering now what the difference is between a compound sentence and a comma splice. Okay. And so just kind of whatever is reflected in what you're currently learning right now. And the reason we're using ing words here is to show movement forward or just to show movement. All right. When we use past tense here, it makes it sound like we've stopped, like I've learned, okay, I remembered. It's like you're done with that. You're not done with that. You're continuing the learning here. So that's why we're using the ing words. You can use as many of these as you want. I just want a quick, honest, authentic discussion about the movement that you're making using these language words or learning language words to discuss, all right, kind of where you are with identification, where you are with construction, and where you are with correction, okay? So this should be easy peasy. You'll just fill this out. When I look at it, I should see one of the highlighted cells indicating your performance. I should see a brief discussion using one of the language words, learning language words, all right? And then once you've done that, you're going to submit this, mis chicos, all right? As always, if you need help, reach out. Other than that, welcome back, and I will chat with you guys later, either online or in person. Okay, peace out, my friends.